Hey guys, alright, I am just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and pre-record once again the video that was live Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the straight up paper pumpkin. You know, I don't know if any of us will ever totally master technology. So the deal was, and it's done it to me in the past on my lives, it'll keep saying waiting on my YouTube channel for hours. And I don't know whether it's my iPhone that's doing that, if it's YouTube doing that. I don't know. StreamYard was not working for me because even though I specified going live, it kept wanting me to record it. And so at the last minute, I'm struggling. I'm trying to get on YouTube Live, yada, yada. And I was a couple of minutes late as it was. So in the past, whenever a video several hours later was still showing waiting, because on my TV, I could bring it up and review it, which I did. And I had used a microphone for the first time. It was a new one. It was just one of those clip-on lapel microphones, and it wasn't cheap. And there was all kinds of sound issues. So I've started my return with Amazon on that. And there's one other thing I thought of that maybe I need to try that microphone again before I send it back, because I did have it like up at the very top of my shirt, and that might have been too close, but it was causing wonky things with the sound. It was just, it was not good. It was not good, and I was upset. But in the past, whenever a video would do that, I would just hit delete. Very first time I did it, I thought, yeah, it's really going to delete the video. Thing was, it didn't. It appeared to. And then several hours later, and sometimes as late as the next morning, there it was. Okay, it was there. So this time, after several hours had gone by, I thought, okay, I'll just delete it off my iPhone and that'll clear that up. No, it didn't. Hey, it's gone. It's AOL. It's out there in internet space, floating around somewhere, feeling alone and rejected. Onward and upward, right? I was so bummed by that, and I was letting it get me down, and I thought, you know, it is what it is. Just go with the flow. So that's what we're doing. All right, I have, in the other video, I had unboxed it for the first time, got the pieces out, got them separated, got the twine cut that came with it. This time, we're just going to go for the gold. I have already got the 3 projects. You have 2 cards and a tag. It will make 8 cards. So 4 of each design and 4 tags, which are adorable. And so we're just going to run through that very quickly. Now, they did something I had not experienced. I'm not going to say it's brand new to this kit because I don't always get the kits. Although I did get December's kit. But they had this little insert in there. And I thought, well, that's adorable. Okay. To put on the inside of your case, just as though you had bought a full-fledged photopolymer set from Stamping Up. And so I have got that heavy plastic over it. And the other stamps I have already took off and remounted on blocks. I mean, there's no sense, right? No sense in going through all that one by one like I did in the initial unboxing yesterday. So I'm refilming this on Wednesday. I will get it uploaded sometime today. And it may be that you'll have a video on Thursday and then the regular pre-recorded video on Friday, okay? All right, guys. So, the very first card that it shows in the directions is this one. Very, very cute. And I did figure something out. I'm not good at looking at directions. I look at the pictures and I just fly by the seat of my pants. So, I noticed that these can actually be glued together, and so that's what we're going to do first. Now, straight up paper pumpkin, why am I doing this? Well, obviously this kit and many, many, many other kits can be, they can be altered. You can many times go ahead and get another card from one card base, and you can, and because this coordinates with their lavender suite, so like this card here, see how it's two-sided? I could easily cut that in half and double the cards I get out of this kit. And sometimes I do that. But a lot of times we buy these kits because we want that easy button. We don't want to have to do the stamping and the die cutting and yada, yada, yada. We just want to be able to pop these little pieces out, pop them on a card base, boom, stamp your sentiment, and you have a card, right? Okay. So, because doing these alternatives are so popular, and I'm not poo-pooing them because I do it too off screen. I've had several kits where I have done alternatives. But for the sake of today's video, we're just doing them straight up. And then that way there, you get a bird's eye view. I think maybe a better bird's eye view of how it is supposed to come together. Rather than all the alternatives. Because not everybody wants to do alternatives. Just don't. I'm going to kind of bring this up a little bit. There we go. I want it back here, but I want it to come up through that window. Now, this would be perfect to add a piece of acetate and make a shaker card. I think that would be adorable. But we're doing straight up paper pumpkin, so we're not going to do that. Now, rather than, in my original video, I brought in my own dimensionals. Now, this set of dimensionals was in the kit. They were the regular size. They were very generous in the amount they gave us. However, y'all know me. I really enjoy making sure that when my card goes through the mail, if I mail it, that it's not going to have any saggy spots, any bent, anything. Postage just went up again. And so with that in mind, rather than using a ton of dimensionals, y'all, I had showed this in a previous video. I don't even remember which video it was. This is from Pear Blossom Press, okay? Foam tape. It is repositional for 30 minutes, and it's permanent in 24 hours. What a game changer. What a way to cheat when you are doing a project and you're going, oh my heavens, if I don't get it on there just right. Now, on the Tuesday video, what I did after I put down a ton of dimensionals, I took liquid glue and put on the back of them. And that does help to give you a little wiggle room. But I thought, you know, for today's card, let me get out my regular snips. I'm just going to use this foam tape. Now, let me point something out to you. You see how thick the dimensionals are, and that's how thick they are. And then you see how thick this foam tape is. And it's a little bit thicker. It's going to give a little bit more of a lift. But I don't think it's something that your recipient is really even going to notice. So I'm just kind of snipping some pieces here. Lay it down to make sure I've got good adhesion. Shorten that one just a little bit, making sure I'm in the camera. Anyway, for those of you who were here for the live or who watched it after the live, my apologies, guys. I am so sorry. You know, the first thing I wonder when things go bad is, did I do something wrong? Was I at fault somewhere? And I always try to kind of figure that out. Because if I am, I need to correct that and learn and grow and do a better job at all this. But I retraced all my steps and what I did and what I have been doing all this time. And I couldn't figure out where I had messed up. I couldn't. Now I want this on the outside. I don't want any of that foliage on the inside. So I'm going to put this here. ever so carefully. And now I want to show you it truly is repositionable. Look at there. It's not tearing my paper. It's not ripping it. So if you don't get it down right away, it gives you that room, which I think is amazing. Amazing. But anyway, I do apologize, guys. I was kind of having a little bit of a pity party. I mean, I'll just be honest and admit, yes, I was having, and it was like, instead, you know, rise to the occasion. It is what it is, and maybe there's a reason why you just need to do a pre-recorded video on this. Okay, I don't think I'm going to need this anymore, but I love this foam tape. I bought it just for using with shaker cards, but I'm finding it comes in handy for other applications too, not just shaker cards. And this is the reason why I wanted some wiggle room, to make sure I get that lined up correctly. I didn't do a bad job in the first video. I mean, here's this card that we're working on, and it's not bad. It's not perfect. I can see just a titch of that beige background sticking out there. And if you turn it over and open it, there's a little bit right there I probably need to cut off. And probably not going to, but anyway. All right, let's remove these backings and get this put on the front, and we'll continue making this card. We'll make the tag, and we'll make the second card, and just showing you straight up. And this is probably more for people who have never done paper pumpkin, and they want to know what all the hype is about, all that good stuff. And I'm kind of pulling this over closer to me, trying to make sure I'm lined up. And I know what I should have done. Yeah, and already see I'm crooked. But this foam tape will just let you move it around to your heart's content. Let's see. Let me get it lined up here. Yeah, y'all see me struggling. Y'all do the same thing. I know you do. Ta-da! There we go. That's all I needed to do was line it up. Now, another thing I could have done was pull this back just part of the way. And once I got the top done, then go ahead and pull the rest of the release paper out from under. Now, at this point, you know, you can take some glue dots and you can anchor those down. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take and put a little bit of glue here and there on this foliage back here where I know it's not going to be seen. And I'm just going to lightly marry those together. And then, if you want to, especially if you're going to mail it, I would advise that you put some glue maybe underneath the foliage too, to anchor it here and there, like right here, maybe right up here, maybe a place or two over here. But for right now, I'm not going to. Because postage went up again, I am striving even more of an effort to not mail any cards that are going to have a lot of dimension. Now, one thing I will do, if I have bling, the bling can pop through the envelope. It can make a hole in your envelope in transit. Rather than pay extra postage, just take an extra piece of cardstock. It can be the cheapest stuff, or maybe a piece cut out of an expired calendar. I mean, whatever you've got, cut it to your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, lay it over your card in the envelope so that it's protected and they get it all in one piece. Okay, so on this one, we have a piece of 12-inch twine, and it did come with that beautiful twine that we all know and love. So I'm going to lay that there for just a second. And on this sentiment strip that is in the kit, it has Happy Valentine's Day. So we're going to ink that up. Of course, my stamps are already stained because we were using the Gorgeous Grape. I was using that ink spot Tuesday that came in the kit, and I'll show it to you here real quick. And mine was like really juicy, and I had issues in stamping that one little word without it coming out blobby. And I thought, well, let's just see if my ink pad will do a little bit better job. And I tested it with that little word with right before getting on screen. I'm going to pull this down, but barely be in camera mode. Straighten that up. Hopefully I'll stamp this straight, side to side and top and bottom. Just gently hold that for a second. And there we go. That came out really, really well. Okay. I'm going to move this back because we'll need it again. Okay. And yes, you're supposed to be putting dimensionals behind it. And all I did was just take the twine and just loop it around my fingers and just kind of put it together. In the directions, I believe they actually tied a bow, and I'm just not going to do that. I am not. Let me get one of these out. Usually I save these sheets. As a rule, I do not supply dimensionals and bling for people to put on their cards during my card class. However, I like for my attendees to kind of have that option if that's needed, requested, or whatever. So I save these for card classes, and then that way there, you know, if somebody doesn't have any or has never used any, they get introduced to the wonderful world of dimensionals. All right, I'm going to take this and just kind of lay this somewhat in the middle. I'm not going to worry too much about the shape it takes. I'm truly doing freeform. I don't want that little end there showing. Pick that up, reallocate that. There we go. So here is my twine, and I am simply going to put this. I'm actually going to raise mine up. I think in the original directions and the photo, it kind of shows my straight. That's the part I always wonder about. And my straight. There. That looks pretty good. And there is that card. Isn't that cute? I kind of think maybe more than 12 inches of twine. If you have this twine in your craft room, you might really want to go more to town with it. Or even put a little bit of gold behind there. I think that would be pretty. But I'm loving that lilac foil. Y'all know I love foiling. And you know I've been buying Gina K products for doing all kinds of foil sentiments and images and things like that. And so I'm really hoping Stampin' Up will maybe kind of start to go that way for us. You know, I hope so. But, all right, let's go ahead and do the tag. Now, the tag is super, super simple. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue, little dots here on the back. This is one of the foliage pieces that comes in the kit. I'll put a little bit right there at the bottom of that stem. And then we're going to take and lay this on here. Yeah, about like so. About like so. And this one is just too easy. I really don't want that to clog because it's going to take me a second just to stamp. And so for this one, you have this curved rectangle. And we're going to stamp just a little something for you. I think it's so cute. If you got the suite, how awesome to make a little gift box that would coordinate with that tag. Because it's using all the same colors, the Highland Heather, the Gorgeous Grape, etc., etc. And it was specifically designed to coordinate with that suite, so that this kit gave you way more for the dollar than what some of the kits do. So here we go, just a little something for you. And again, we're going to take a 12-inch piece of twine. And let me get my ends together here. There we go. I'm try to straighten that out a little bit. Get my ends and put them through the top of the tag before I put my sentiment on. So I'm going from the front to the back, bring it up, loop it through, and there we go. And there's our tag. Obviously, that's a healthy length of a tag. And if you want to, you can absolutely trim that off depending on what you're attaching it to. And so we're going to put a couple of dimensionals. I know. Normally I would have put 3. That's okay. We're just going to rock and roll with it. I hope y'all have been having a really good week. We actually got rain yesterday. I didn't know it was supposed to rain, but I kept my lunch date. If you're coming back to watch this video and you were there for my live, you know I said I had a lunch date, and I went out with Mom and Sissy, which is my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. We had a really, really good time. Really good time. All right, last card. See how this is just flowing so quick? All right, so there is a long piece of lavender and a shorter, fatter, I call it fatter. The blooms on there are just a little bit larger. And then you have a scaled down little bit of foliage. And you have the word love. And this was the one that I had to stamp with on, and I struggled with that. You have this beautiful, like a watercolor with the Highland Heather. You have this beautiful tag that, again, has that luscious lilac foil on there. So pretty. And then, look at that card base. Love, love, love it. Very reminiscent of the DSP that goes with that suite. Again, yeah, absolutely. You got to cut that in two. Got 2 cards out of 1. But like I said, we're just doing this straight up. Now, what I need to do, and I think today's the 31st. I'm going to have to try to get this uploaded because I didn't redo my host code yet for February. Okay, so February, last month, to take part a celebration. You get free gifts from me and from Stampin' Up. Stampin' Up, if it's a $50 order, you qualify for one $50 item. And this is before tax and shipping. If it's a $100 order, you qualify for a $100 item out of the catalog. Or which, and that's what they call level 2, or you can get 2 level 1s. You can mix and match that all you want to. So, plus a free gift from me, that's awesome, right? So on this tag right here, we are going to stamp that foliage stamp. So pretty. This is really pretty. So I'm just going to ink that up. Looks good. Yeah, yesterday, Tuesday, when I went live with this, of course, the stamps were brand new. I had not touched them, had not used them, and I was showing you how you could take your fingers and just rub all over the stamp to get them kind of ready to take the ink, and that worked really, really well. Some people like to use Versamark, that sticky ink, and ink up their stamps and then clean them with their chamois or their Stampin' Scrub, either way. All right, so we've got this, and now we need this piece of foliage, and we're going to kind of lay it more over to the side here. And you decide, obviously, yes, it can hang off a little bit. You have wiggle room on this card design. And then we're going to take the long one and the shorter one and layer on top of the flowers. So we're going to go ahead and put this on real quick. And this one will take you the longest to put together, but it's not hard. You know, it's just a little bit of time, right? Just a little time. And we're going to put just a little bit. Did I get any? There we go. Okay. All right, we're going to lay this, because you definitely, after all that work of stamping that, you want some of that showing. And then we're going to take this long one, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue down through there. And we're going to lay this one right about there. And it will kind of come up and off. Now, I use Barely Art glue, so it's not sticky and it won't stick to anything, so I'm good. And then you want this little short one. And again, vary it up. You know, when you get your kit, if you want to do alternatives, by all means do so. I'm not poo-pooing that, and please don't take that wrong. But sometimes we just need the easy button and need to be able to just put things together, right? Okay, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get my little word with, and it is really tiny. And we're going to see if we can't stamp that a little bit better than what I was doing Tuesday. And I was going to tell you guys, and I started to, and I never finished it in the video. I was asking how many of you were familiar with a Christian comedian called Tim Hawkins. So what I'm going to do, if you've never heard him, now he's a Christian comedian, okay? He's hilarious. I think so, in my opinion. I'm going to put a link in the description below to one of his videos. And you guys can decide if you think he's funny. If not, there's Chandra Pierce and several others out there. I had found Tim Hawkins some years ago and had kind of lost track, kind of forgot about him. And so I was delighted to find that he had some new material. And yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. Okay, once again, and I'm going to take a strip of this foam instead of using 5 or 6 dimensionals. And I know you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting a piece. Hopefully I'm long enough and not too long. And then I'm coming in and just putting this across the back. Now, I love Stampin' Up's foam sheets. I do. I like them very much. I enjoy using them. But I'm almost out. I am just almost out. And when I know I have overlooked reordering something and I barely have any left, I kind of panic, I guess. I guess that's how you could say it. I kind of panic and I want to hold on to it, you know, a what-if scenario. I know, it's silly. It is. It's truly silly. Now, you're going to have a little hanging off on this side and this side here on this tag, okay? You will. You'll have a little bit hanging off. And I don't want to cover up that delicious, okay, am I even? I don't want to cover up that foil. I want that foil sticking out, I think. Because my right hand is my dominant hand, I tend to pull things out of place on the right side. Even when I'm doing layers on a card, and I know this, and I do my best to try to deal with that. But even when I'm putting a layer down, I tend to want to pull it in and it be crooked. So that's something I am mindful of. That is just one of my personal little quirks. I don't know, call it a flaw, I guess, but definitely a quirk. And now we're going to take this love and lay this right on top. Now, there were dies that, and they are still available as far as I know, that coordinate with this set. They do coordinate. You've got the die for the word love, for the foliage, a couple other things, sentiment strips, I think. I didn't order them. I didn't order them because, to be very honest, guys, I give away my stamping and my paper pumpkin stamp sets because I know I'm probably not going to go back and reuse them. Okay, at this point, I'm bringing in some mini dimensionals for this word with, rather than try to cut up big ones or a piece of that foam tape or whatever. I'm going to press down, make sure they're on there, so when I remove my backing, they don't try to come up off of there. They do come up off easy. Just sometimes I'm not as coordinated as I wish I was. Okay, and so our little width is just going to go right there. There we go. Now we have our piece all ready to go on our card front. And I did use foam tape on that. I think I'll just use the regular size dimensionals on here. Definitely want my corners supported. But yeah, the microphone was just horrible. It was horrible, guys. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So I am going, before I return it, I've already started the process with Amazon. However, I am going to come in here and by myself, I'm going to clip it on and do a test, a private test video, and see if I have any of those sound issues. If I don't, then I'm going to use it as I do your Friday pre-recorded video, and that'll be yet another test. And we'll see what happens. I'm wondering, did I have it too close? And that caused some issues because it wasn't constant. It really wasn't. It was like a hit and miss, almost like a metallic kind of sound. And then at other times, my voice sounded really thick. And it's a cute little microphone. It's really cute. And it got really high ratings. And so I just kind of wonder, well, is it me? Is it Memorex? So here we go. All right, there's one card, one tag, and the other card. Isn't that adorable? Love, love, love it. I love it. If I had enough extra pieces of this, I would have used this behind here for kind of a mat. Again, I could have took my Highland Heather, my Gorgeous Grape, and made a little mat by measuring that. So, so much creativity, even though it's all pre-done, well, not pre-stamped, but, you've got your stamp set and you've got all your die cuts already pre-done. All you do is punch them out. You got your card bases, your envelopes. Oh, and here's the envelopes. So here is this envelope that would go with this card. Okay, it is white on the outside, which I actually prefer. And how pretty. And then there is another set of envelopes that coordinate with the background in that card right there. If you can see that, isn't that precious? I love it, love it, love it. My hat's off to the people who design these cards. And these card kits and all the thought that has to go into them months in advance. I mean, this stuff doesn't just happen at the drop of a hat, right? So, guys, y'all be safe, be blessed, know you are loved. God is good all the time, and I'll see you in the pre-recorded video Friday. Bye.